So, Stephen Jennings on the front row in red. Adam Wright in blue. On the second row, on the right, with the white helmet, is James Hattersley. On the left, Mark Ridout. I'm looking for the third row of the grid. I think that's Steve Townsend. I could be wrong. On the outside is Matthew Fawkes in kart 77. Yes, it is Steve Townsend. I'd recognise that shape anywhere. Tim Hill won the first final. Only 7th on the grid. With Theodoros Girodakis on beside him. And then it's Andrew Dawson and Martin Gurnett. I think that is your top 10. And we're about to get going. Everything's running. Most things are recording. We're looking for a green flag. 12 minutes is this final. For the pots at the end of the day, who'll get that hole shot? It's going to be Jennings, with Wright trying to get in on his bumper to hold second ahead of James Hattersley, and he's done it. And I think Hattersley might be bounced here by Mark Ridout. Maybe he's not at the chicane, but down at the hairpin. Will they all make it through the second chicane okay? Yes, they've made it. And actually, it's surprisingly gentlemanly. Oh, it's been waved off. Who didn't make it? Well, I can't see anybody anywhere off the track. So I wonder if we might have had a timing issue. I'm still seeing 12 minutes on the clock. That's a peculiar one. I'm not sure what happened there. But they're all still running and we're still ready to rock and roll. Andy Cowell had a bit of a mare through the final. He'll be looking to pick up a good result here. He's looking a long way down the field. Remember, he started third on the grid, I think, in the pre-year final. So there's great opportunity here. We've still got 12 minutes on the clock. So that must be our fault, not theirs. So Jennings again, and once again, Wright's timed it perfectly, and he's planted himself on the nose of James Hattersley, and Hattersley's had to cover off Mark Ridout exactly the same way as before. Townsend, Fawkes, Hill looking to pick up positions quickly. Not going to happen there. He's gone round the outside, and Matthew Fawkes at the hairpin though. So Ridout looking to get third place, can't get it done. Into the horseshoe, will they all make it in cleanly? Yeah, pretty much for the first half of the field. Gets messy towards the back. We'll let them all stream through and reset this field at the end of lap 1. So up front then. Can't be Tim Hill, surely. No, I'm missing a group. There we go. There's your race leader. Stephen Jennings, Adam Wright, James Hattersley, Mark Ridout, and then a gap to Tim Hill, I think. Yes, it is. He's got ahead of Steve Townsend. So Jennings leads. I feel a spot of rain on my wrist again. How disconcerting, but I think it's going to hold off. And I don't think Jennings is particularly quick. I've got the good feeling here about Adam Wright. No, don't worry, it's nothing sexual. But it's Jennings. Oh, but now Hattersley has pushed his way through to second place. And Wright's got to do it again. So Jennings, Hattersley, Wright. Oh, and a mistake from Jennings. I actually think this is going to work for Wright more than it is for Hattersley. He closes back in. And Hattersley hits the front. Oh, he bounced over the curb to do it. It's got messy behind. Oh, now it really has played for James Hattersley. Wright is through to second. And Tim Hill and Matthew Fawkes are in the mix here. And it's turning into, it looks like it's going to be just like the pre-year final, which was certainly entertaining to watch. But right now it's James Hattersley leading out. Adam Wright, Jennings trying to get back through to second. Would it be better just to follow Adam Wright? Because I think he's looking pretty quick. Now Jennings on the defensive to hold off Mark Ridout. They'll go side by side in the horseshoe, and then Jennings gets down and behind. And now it settles down. Anthony Harrington looking to the inside of Andrew Dawson and gets it done. I think that's Anthony. Yes, it is. So Harrington moves ahead of Andrew Dawson. His next target is James Shield, and that is for 10th place, I think. Or is that Ben Cottle? That might be Ben Cottle, you know. Let's have a zoom in to see. No, that's Anthony Harrington. It's Ben Cottle ahead. I can't help much. They're dressed the same. So Hattersley leads his gap this time. It was half a second on the last lap. What's the gap this time? It's 0.7 of a second. And right now, James Hattersley appears to have some measure of control in this final. And I feel another spot of rain on my cheek. This is going to be a narrow squeak. I hope I have time to start putting things away before it starts piddling down. So Cottle side by side with Gerodakis. No, that's James Shield. So Cottle goes through. Harrington's going to go through. Dawson moves on to the bumper of James Shield. What's happening at the front? Not a great deal. It's pretty much as you were, although Wright has put a gap into Mark Ridout. And we are going to see if Adam Wright has got the pace to run down James Hattersley, dropping down this afternoon from the Premier class, where things didn't go particularly well, I don't think. Paul Williams got ahead of Steve Bosley there, I think. Ben Bennyworth ahead. Let's see what's happening up front. 0.8 of a second is the gap, so it's pretty much as you were. We're just coming up towards half distance. 6.5 minutes left of this heavyweight A final, and it's James Hattersley from Adam Wright, Mark Ridout, Stephen Jennings, Matthew Forbes, Tim Hill, and I don't think there's anyone else in it. Martin Gurnett has moved on to the bumper of Theodoros Girodakis. But Theo keeps the position for now, ahead of Gurnett in 8th place. Ben Cottle has lost a spot. Oh no, he's gained a spot from Robert Stapleton. So Ben Cottle running down the pair ahead of him in short order. Everything else is pretty much as you were ahead. It's quite spaced out now. So I think we're settling into what looks like the order for now. This is the battle on track. Girodakis, Gurnett, and Ben Cottle. And a chance for Cottle maybe down into the second chicane as Gurnett presses on. Girodakis, oh look, he's beginning to form a little bit of a queue here behind Theo. Gurnett looks to the inside, can't get it done, might open himself up to an attack into the horseshoe. But he's got it covered off. And Anthony Harrington is joining this group. Behind Anthony Harrington is Robert Stapleton, James Shield, Andy Cowell having a going forward in this final where he went backwards in the free-air final. He might go home in a good mood after all. A big long line here. Everything else is fairly static up front. I can tell you, James Hattersley's lead is nearly out to a second now. And they are pulling clear. Theo is not particularly quick. So there's Hattersley, Ridout, Jennings, Fawkes, Hill. Hill beginning to lose touch in 6th place. The battle for 7th place. Girodakis, Gurnett, Cottle, Harrington, Stapleton and Andy Cowell. You'll have to bear with me if the camera work gets a little bit shabby. I'm trying to keep an eye on the leading battle. Girodakis goes to cover off once again. It's as you were up front, no changes. The gaps are about the same. And Girodakis has pulled out a couple of kart lengths on Gurnett, who I think may be forced to pay the piper. Here comes Anthony Harrington. Ben Cottle, has he got an overlap? He had to check up there. That might let in Anthony Harrington into the bus stop. It does. And Andy Cowell will surely go straight on the attack down the second chicane. On Cottle, maybe he's at the hairpin. There's a little bit of rubbing. I think he's run himself out of that one. And Stapleton has gone through. Time to get back to the front, I fear. So Hattersley, Wright, Jennings, and Fawkes. And Tim Hill is fading. He's going to finish in 6th place. 2 minutes 46 from the finish. Running down to the finish. 2 minutes left, that's what? Probably 4 laps from the finish now. And it's a shame that Adam Wright has not been able to take the fight to James Hattersley, who's controlling this one from the front. His fastest lap is a 44.25 to Adam Wright's 44.1. But I suspect Adam might have done that in the slipstream. While James Hattersley here is having to break wind for the whole field. That's a cycling term. So Wright looking to stay on the podium. Poleman Stephen Jennings wants to get back on the podium from 4th place and into 3rd. I can't see any, are there any heavies in this one, super heavies? There's not a single super heavy in this one. This is just ordinary heavies. So 1 minute 15 from the finish. 2 more laps, I think. And the battle is on over the minor places. And steps on the podium rather than the outright win. Stephen Jennings looking for a way by. I can tell you that Girodakis is still hanging on to 7th place. He continues to have quite the queue behind him though. Stephen Jennings is back on the podium. He's moved through to 3rd. Somebody in the tyres, it's Lenny Wood. Buried in the tyres there is his kart, so he's gone in hard, I think. Probably going to wave his fist at someone. Final lap board will be out this time. It's looking pretty secure now for James Hattersley. One more tour of the track. Oh. There's a yellow flag out of the hairpin as they recover Lenny Wood. Ridout won't be able to overtake down there. Jennings feels obliged to cover. I can tell you Girodakis is still fighting quite the defence. Ridout to the inside in the horseshoe, can't get it done, and that might be his last shot. James Hattersley is going to win the heavyweight A final from Lydd. Ahead of Adam Wright. Stephen Jennings is going to hang on to 3rd. Mark Ridout will be 4th. Matthew Fawkes an excellent 5th. Tim Hill a lonely 6th. We're looking for the battle for 7th, and it's still Theodoru Dirodakis in 7th. He's managed to hold off Ben Cottle, Anthony Harrington, and Andy Cowell. And there's contact there between Harrington and Cottle, I think. And we're done. Oh, wow. Well, it wasn't banzai all the way, but it was certainly entertaining, and it's a win for James Hattersley from Knaresborough in Yorkshire. And with Joe Holmes winning in the elite class, that's 2 wins for Yorkshire here at Lydd. I'm just saying.